Welcome back to the KDPG Sunday edition. On this Christmas Eve, we're talking about the role that religion plays in our society, how it helps us cope with some of the tragedies and challenges that life inevitably brings. Back with us now, Reverend Liddy Barlow, Executive Minister of Christian Associates of Southwest Pennsylvania, and joining us now, Susan Rauscher, Executive Director of Catholic Charities. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas.
Happy to be here. Merry Christmas.
What is the biggest impact, not necessarily at Christmas time, but throughout the year, what is the biggest impact on the community that Catholic Charities has?
I think it generally flows with a couple things. So one is of course disasters and how they impact people. I think the other big thing is expectations for people within a community. So we see that hit at like Christmas, back to school, those kind of things, where families who are struggling initially start to forego their normal rent, utility payments in order to meet what they see as obligations within a community or family. So they'll not pay rent or utility bills in order to try to make Christmas work, or to try to get what their kids need on that whole back to school list, those kind of things. So those impact. And then I think generally we have people who just struggle all the time to get from paycheck to paycheck or from resource to resource, and they're just trying to make it work. And I think this time of the year, we talk about them often as being just very tired, weary, and this is for some of them, while we're all celebrating, they're trying to figure it out and make it all work.
Right, right. You always have to remember there are two sides. But it's stressful, and it can be a lonely time for people who don't have family to celebrate or don't have the resources to be able to give perhaps their children the type of Christmas they want to give them. So in what ways are you directly serving the community? I know there's a medical component, right? There's a clinic.
So we have a free healthcare center that provides free medical and dental care for people who, for whatever reason, have a barrier to health access, whether it's medical or dental, and they're uninsured or they can't access their insurance because they missed a premium or they can't afford their co-pays, or their deductible is now so high that they can't make a dent in that in order to continue on with health care. And so we have that kind of a resource. We also are about to open our winter warming station. So for people who are living outside or trying to function outside during the days when the shelters are closed, so people can just come in, get warm, have a little fellowship, a little food, maybe meet with a caseworker, those kind of things.
So this leads me right to the story, one of the stories in the news as this year comes to an end, which is a change to the tax laws, which is going to change the incentive for some people on making charitable contributions. How much does Catholic Charities rely on those types of contributions that some people might be taking as a tax deduction?
So it's a huge part of how we fund what we do. We are a little nervous, to say the least. We come from Pittsburgh, which is a great thing, because the people of Pittsburgh are super responsive and super giving. But we also know that incentives cause people, so our greatest time of giving from people to receive gifts from them is the end of the year. That's what they're thinking about. What do I need to do between now and the end of this calendar year in order to affect my taxes, those kind of things. So we're anticipating there'll be some kind of hit to that. I think we'll continue to get people giving to us and being responsive, particularly in times of need, but we're a little nervous about what might happen to the bottom line.
Ken mentioned a little while at the top of the show that one of the lamentable stories of 2017 is the rise in opioid addiction. Death rates through the roof here. I'm wondering, in the work you do down there on the ground, how that's changing the services you provide, the need that's out there, this opioid blight.
So it affects in multiple ways, and I can tell you that we've had a number of instances where our caseworkers who are going in home to check on some of our residents, homeless people who are now housed in one of our programs, and they're actually coming upon people who have OD'd, sometimes dead, sometimes able to recover. Had an instance where they went in and the mom had OD'd and there were two kids, you know, just kind of hanging out, little kids. So that's intense. What happens though with opioid addictions is if you're not dealing with something really dramatic like that, you are dealing with the drain on resources, the drain on decision making and priority making, and then that affects the whole parameter. And then we start to see them coming in for a variety of reasons, and everything from really damaged health to they haven't paid a bill in forever and now they're facing eviction with their family. It's huge.
Are your workers like trying to use Narcan at this point for when they?
Specifically our caseworkers who work with our homeless population who we house and we walk in, yes, they are trained in Narcan, yeah.
So if agencies like yours and other nonprofits take a hit because of this change to the tax formula, Reverend Barlow, what do you think the effect will be on churches, individual churches?
Sure. I mean, I think that giving to congregations may suffer slightly given the change in tax law, but we tend to encourage congregations to think of giving as a spiritual practice, as a response to goodness. So our churches may suffer somewhat from this. I think where the real impact will come is if it has a dramatic impact on organizations in the communities, that churches may be expected to pick up some extra slack in meeting unmet needs. And I hope that our churches will be able to rise to that challenge, but it will be more difficult.
I'm just curious, are both of you Pittsburgh area natives?
No, I'm not.
Where are you from?
I grew up in New Hampshire.
Okay. And you're a Pittsburgh native?
I am. Yeah.
I grew up in Chicago, and not to get too sappy, but I've always felt that there is a special spirit in Western Pennsylvania because the people here have known despair. You know, anyone who lived through the 70s and the 80s knows that you could go from being a relatively vibrant, prosperous community to one, and those communities still exist today along the Route 837 corridor, you know, Duquesne, Clairton, Glassport, et cetera. I've always felt that because people here have seen the suffering up close and personal, it makes them more responsive when they see a need in others. Am I just looking at this through, you know, rose-colored glasses, or do you think that's a reality?
For me personally, I can tell you, absolutely, that's a reality. If we have a special ask or a special need and we put it out there, we not only get what we've asked for, but we get it in spades. So we just did a special program where kids could earn their coupons to buy gifts for their family members, and they could say what they wanted. So we shared those lists with donors and interested people. We not only got what's on the list, but we got and then some. And more than and then some. So I think that Pittsburgh people and I talked to my counterparts in Catholic Charities in other parts of the country, and they don't seem to have the same type of quick response and generous response that we have.
Interesting. So it's real. It's not just my imagination, just as I suspected.
Yes.
So in a year when it seems like our political dialogue has coarsened, instances of intolerance seem to be higher profile now. Christmas couldn't have come sooner, right? Do you get the feeling that this year there'll be a special level of attention paid to the Christmas message?
Yeah, I mean, I have colleagues who have spoken about how in past years they have been very eager to separate the Advent season from the Christmas season. You know, let's not sing our Christmas carols yet. It's Advent. We're going to just stick on O Come, Emmanuel and not get to Joy to the World yet. And this year, those colleagues I have heard person after person say, we need those Christmas carols this year. I'm ready to sing Christmas carols. I'm ready to decorate my house.
We need a little Christmas, you're saying right this very minute.
Right this very minute. So yeah, I think that the world is especially hungry to hear about some hope this year.
What do you think's driving that, out of curiosity? I mean, where do you think that's coming from? Kevin laid out a whole litany of problems that we're facing here. What do you think's driving that desire this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to look different for every person, right? I mean, I think all of these major issues have affected individuals in many varying ways. I mean, and there are people who have, in the midst of these kind of global and national levels of conflict, also experienced personal pain. You know, the loss of loved ones, or a serious diagnosis, or you know, a child's trouble in school. So no matter what the reason, I think people are ready for Christmas this year.
How can, so a spirit is bubbling up in people, how can they help Catholic Charities at this right now at this time?
Okay, so very specifically, we can always use monetary donations that we can trade out for services and the work of our people. But we're also, as we're ramping up for the cold season, we can take any coats, hats, gloves, scarves that people need. We actually hang them out on a line outside of our building, and people can just pick them up and even drop them off if they want to. But we go through almost 2,000 of those every year, the hats, gloves, scarves. So that we're taking those, plus things like coffee and cups and those kind of things, because when people come in for the warming station, we give them something warm to eat and drink. So
ccph.org, you can find information on your website as to how you can help.
Absolutely.
And then on the other hand, if you need help from Catholic Charities, what's your first step?
first step is also either give us a call directly, which is 456-6999, or you can jump on the website and there'll be a bunch of different places where you can turn to for help within our org.
And you provide help that's more than acute, right? I mean, you're helping people reestablish themselves and and set themselves up for long term. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we are very much, so we do that one time come in and we'll help you get a bill paid or take care of an issue, but what we really want is for you to leave us stronger and happier. And to do that, we're looking to instill whatever you need, whether it's classes in basic computer education or employment preparedness, or just working with one of our caseworkers on parenting, those kind of things. We're trying to do a lot of one-on-one, and you create your own individualized service plan and we help you walk that. And we're trying to create some incentives around that so that you start to feel that reward as you accomplish things right out of the gate. A lot of how we're currently set up, you got to kind of walk a pretty far journey before you start to reap the benefits of all the hard work. We're trying to kind of work around that and kind of get you into places where you're going, yeah, look, I made a difference in my own life. Those kind of things. So I think that regardless of how you enter us, we're looking at what are all those needs across the board. So you might come to us to get a water bill paid, and in our conversation and our assessment with you, we're finding out, no, you need to really also see a doc and a dentist. So we're going to take care of both of those things and make that work for you.
And the first step, again, could be as simple as a phone call. Give that phone number one more time.
412-456-6999.
Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Pittsburgh. All right, Susan Rauscher, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Reverend Barlow, thank you. We will take a break. Chris Potter and I will return with some final thoughts, perhaps a Christmas wish, in just a moment.